we're moving on to number 3, Villanova versus number 14, Hofstra. Do you have any idea of these two teams' mascots?
Well, I know Villanova are the Wildcats.
Yes.
Of course, recent national champions in basketball, but this isn't a basketball podcast necessarily. Hofstra, are they a dog of some kind?
I will be very surprised if you can get this. No, they are not a dog.
Okay. Go for it. I can't remember.
All right, Hofstra is the Hofstra Pride. They were formerly the Flying Dutchman, which I think there's some
should have stayed the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah, there's some kind of I don't know, something there where people don't want to do that. But they've changed to the Pride, as in a group of lions.
Lions.
And they actually have 2 lions that are mascots that run around that are named Kate and Willie. And there's a link on their website if you want to be the mascot and you're a student at Hofstra that you can apply right there and then. And the compensation is $25 per event.
And then we've got the Villanova Wildcats, which, I mean, we've kind of, we've run that well dry, I think, at this point.
This is my least favorite matchup so far, Cats versus Cats. Can I add one thing to the Villanova Cat? His name is Will D. Cat. So Will, middle initial D, Cat. That's his name.
I was very inspired by Villanova's basketball national championship runs over the past 4 years. I could not be less inspired by the mascot. And just pure math, lots of Lions versus lots of Wildcats. Lots of Lions. They're just going to win. They're going to win every single time. So, the Pride, I think we make short order of this one. Let's move on.
This is the last thing I'll say about all the cats that are just around there. This was on the Villanova website. Here we go. This is the last cat thing that I want to talk about. From here on, all the cats lose, in my opinion. The name Wildcat refers to a wide variety of feral felines, such as the bobcat, carousel, however you say that, lynx. Villanova's wildcat most closely resembles the bobcat, which is found in the southwest part of the United States. The term wildcat is meant to convey the image of an animal that is successful in its quest to survive, using its ferocious attitude, speed, agility, and alertness. The spirit of the wildcat is embodied in all of our athletic teams. Thank you.
Really, what you're telling me is cats are jerks and all your students are jerks because they embody, and that's not true. There's some folks in our neighborhood. There's some folks in our neighborhood who went to Villanova. They seem like nice people. But yeah, I think in general, just the Pride, Hofstra's. They're one of those Cinderella stories anyway. You want to see them get a dub, so Hofstra gets a dub today.
All right, we're moving on. Number 7, West Virginia versus number 10, Utah State. What are their mascots, man?
West Virginia are the Mountaineers. Utah State are the Aggies.
They're Big Blue, a large steer. Originally, Big Blue was a real white bull painted blue before each game. Probably not the safest thing.
I don't think that would fly in today's society, Josh.
So originally in the arena, Big Blue would walk across in like these boots they made for him, and he would just like tear up everything. And they were like, hey, maybe it's not a great idea to bring a big steer in the basketball coliseum. So they quit doing it. The Mountaineer is the official mascot of West Virginia, selected annually since 1930 from the university student body. He's a popular tradition at the school. The Mountaineer appears in a buckskin costume at West Virginia Mountaineer football games, men's and women's basketball games, and much other events. The Mountaineer receives a tuition waiver and scholarship every year. Now this, Matt, is the first example of a human being the mascot. We've had like a friar and other things, but this is the first one that's actual human being, no cover of his face. It's like he's got a beard, he's got the buckskin hat, and he also, Matt, has a gun.
I know, and that's why
it's like a single shot.
It is like it's
gun.
like a musket. Yeah, it's practically a musket at this point. But
still
look,
a gun.
Still a gun. And I was just looking at. I had to back up that Utah State have been known as the Aggies as well. But you're right. The Big Blue emphasis is relatively new. They've got some new logos and whatnot. But
look, I didn't say my
helmets.
I didn't say my research was great. It's just Wikipedia, Google. That's all you're going to get from me. You're
good. I'm getting old. That's all it means. I'm getting old. And I think I think I'm going with the Mountaineers. Mountaineers are known for being kind of crafty, and I mean they know their way around a mountain. It depends. You know what? This will be our first matchup that really depends on the venue. I think if we are in a bullfighting arena,
Mm-hmm.
you might go with
All
Big
right.
Blue. If we are on if we are in a valley or in a close to some type of elevation change, Mountaineers are
Okay.
going to get the dub all day long. So, and when you that's just from a physical standpoint. When you add firepower into it now,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think the Mountaineer takes a win.
This is one thing about the Utah State Big Blue. They actually hire somebody to be their mascot. And there have been six people who have played Big Blue. So it's not every year they get a new one. There have been six people to play Big Blue, four of which have gone on to become professional mascots in the NFL. And they all remain anonymous. So you can't, after you leave Big Blue, you can't say that you were Big Blue.
Little mystique behind Big Blue. I
That's
appreciate
kind
that.
of that's kind of
However,
cool. They're sending people to the majors. They're sending them up. I mean,
that's true.
they got the
That's
stuff.
true.
They're doing it down there.
I kind of put I think about the Mountaineers similarly to the Notre Dame Fighting Irishmen, right?
Another human. Yes.
Another human, and you can't hide behind that. Like you've got to.
Mm.
It takes a certain amount of gumption if you're going to be the Mountaineers. So time's up, Josh. Where are you going? What are you landing for?
It's Mountaineer. He doesn't
Yeah,
even need the gun for this one.
yeah. Okay. Oh wow, doesn't even need the gun. He's putting him in
No,
a sleeper hold. Big
he's got
Blue.
him. He's got
Big
him.
Blue's down. Okay. All right.
All right, here we go. The final one of this bracket, the number two, Florida State Seminoles versus Northern Kentucky. Do
The
you know
Norse, the Northern Kentucky Norse. Yes. Yeah. Another former Atlantic Sun member.
Very impressive. I had no idea what that was, where it came from.
Yep.
what it referred to?
Relatively new to Division One, Northern Kentucky. I think they've only been 5 or 6 years now, Division One, but they've burst onto the scene. You know, Kentucky, very basketball rich area, of course, and
Yep.
they've won a couple conference championships and already been to the NCAA tournament. I think twice um, in their history. So it's pretty strong showing. The Norse in general, similar to our Bucks and Tennessee discussion. I'd love to hear some history on that if you got it.
All right, this actually is a good battle because they both refer to groups of humans who have in history been able to battle and hold their own against other groups of humans. Norse has been a common term for the Norsemen in early medieval periods, especially in connection with raids and monastic plundering of by Norsemen in the British Isles. The Norse or Northmen were also known as Ashmen by the Germans, Lachlan by the Irish, and Danes by the Anglo-Saxons. Now, you might be thinking of why this relates to northern Kentucky. It doesn't in any way, except the only thing that I found was the place they are located in is called Highland Heights. So Highland Heights is the home of the North. You're at. It's like Highland. You know, like that's an Irish Eastern.
Yeah, it's like
a
I think
term.
Highlands. I think more Scottish than I do
Whatever.
Norse, but
I'm sorry.
yeah,
But
Northern Norse. Okay, I'm with you.
Anyway, the guy's name is Victor E. Viking. Victor E. Viking is the. And then Florida State, they are the Seminoles. You know, when all these other schools up in the Northeast were like, you know what, Native American Indian names are probably not that great. Florida State was like, nah, we're good. We're good.
Florida State stayed the course, and I think they went so far as forfeiting some postseason appearances in order to stay the Seminoles,
really,
right? Or that was. I
yeah.
think that was the legislation passed down by the NCAA at the time. Like, if you're going to make it to the postseason, you can only be known as Florida State. You can't even be known as the Seminoles.
Wow. I don't know.
So
I don't know how I'd feel until like some team names themselves the Pasty White Guys. Like, I don't know. I don't exactly know how that feels. But I mean, part of me could see that it would be like, oh, that'd be kind of sad, and then part of me would be like, oh yeah, this is kind of awesome that they're elevating a culture that was. I don't know. Who knows?
if I hadn't already used my timeout, I would here, because there's a great story back during the Florida State discussion. I think this is one of the first of a dozen times that the Washington Redskins were put under the microscope. But there was
I'll take my time out. You can have it. I might have already used it, but I'm going to use
okay,
it.
all right. So here you go.
All right, go ahead.
This is your random factoid, right? There was a team on a Native American reservation that was playing basketball, right? Just basically adult rec league basketball, and they caused a stir because they made jerseys and they called themselves the Fighting Whiteys. and they had a mascot that basically looked like a 1950s caricature, right?
Uh-huh.
And for me, as a white guy watching this story, I thought it was funny,
Yeah.
but at the same time, we think about Florida State in this case. I don't think they're looking at it as funny in any way, and I
Mm.
wouldn't either. It's supposed to be an intimidating, a culturally rich kind of thing. I will say, I don't know, maybe I won't say it, but I think just in terms of let's take politics, let's take the way people feel out about it. Let's keep
Done.
this fun. Let's
I
keep
mean,
it
the
light.
names
Let's
are the
just think
names. The
about
names are the names right
the
now.
names. The names are the
The
names.
mascots are the
And
mascots.
and
Let's
look,
do
if
this.
you're telling me that a bunch of Norsemen are about to go to war with the Seminoles,
Mm-hmm.
I would watch that all day long. That would be a great matchup. So my head goes towards my heart really go toward the Seminoles,
Mm-hmm.
just because they were never conquered. There's a statue on Florida State's campus that says as much. It's a Seminole warrior on a horse, and it says unconquered underneath it. And Norsemen, I don't see many Nordic folks, Norsemen, around anymore. They realize that hopping on big heavy boats and wearing heavy armor was only going to get them so far
Well,
in this world.
they got to like the Netherlands, and they were like, all right, this is great. We're just going to
about
stay
as
here.
far as, yeah, Leif Erikson and all that, that's about as far as they go. But I mean, the Seminoles have staying power, and they're a pretty fascinating culture. So I'm going to go with Seminoles on this one. What do you think?
I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with Seminoles. Seminoles take this one. Yeah, but I agree. Must see TV.
Yeah, no doubt. That's if I think that was the matchup I was most looking forward to during your rundown at the start of the show. Yeah, really excited to see what's gonna happen in the round of 32. I thought this was a really strong quadrant of the bracket. Looking back on
Agreed.
the Midwest region, I think in episode 1, this West group was really strong. So excited to see what's going to happen as we move eastward in the tournament.
Yeah. We've got 2 more regions, and then we'll break it down from there, doing a bit more, and then Final Four, and ultimately the Mascot Madness champion. Matt, man, good to do this. Hopefully we'll do it again soon. We'll get this going, and hopefully we can do it a whole bunch more. This is quarantine content. We haven't quite settled on a name, but it's Almost Sports.
Almost Sports. Yeah, thanks, Josh, for putting this on. Really great chatting with you, and looking forward to the next matchups.